Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Artist vs. Camera. Today is gonna be more, I don't know, I just want to let some things out. I want to talk about pain, I want to talk about loneliness, I want to talk about suffering, about the meaning of all of that. Of course it's not easy. It was never meant to be easy. Yesterday was a very strange day, you know. I woke up early, just like every other day. You know, like, you guys remember how I used to say it's always Monday, it's always Monday. Indeed it is. I was finally there, you know, it's this feeling of desiring something, and when you're there, you finally get it. It's like, you don't know what to do. Well, I did know what to do. I wanted to make him understand. I want him to know everything I've been through. But how can I unpack such a long and deep story, bro? Like, it's been months. Every time I'm supposed to talk with someone, I feel timeless. Like, I wouldn't know where to begin. Which point on my timeline do I choose as a beginning for this conversation, right? That's what I mean. The reason I got emotional in the beginning of this episode, with this thing about pain, about suffering, with purpose, right? It's not meaningless suffering. It's not pointless pain. It has a meaning. It has a purpose. And the reason I got emotional is because it strikes deep down to your core, your heart, your soul, your essence, the thing that defines who you are. That's where this thing gets deep down to. My friends were asking me about how have I been? How am I doing? What projects am I working on right now? Is it still the same job? Is the salary okay? Things like that, right? Thing is, I would notice some patterns. I'll be noticing these patterns in people that allow you to not predict, but observe and assume their next move. And it helps you to read them better. Like, you can instantly tell what someone is like, who someone is, based on their history, their current actions. You see, their patterns haven't really changed. They're still the same. This guy's still fat, this guy's still childish, this guy. So it's like, it's all the same. It's always the same. Finding myself in the same situation, same spot again. Like, okay, you're finally here. All those imagined visions and like fantasies you've been making up in your mind about how this moment would be like, how the conversation could go, like, this is your chance. What are you gonna do? And you know what? It never happens exactly the way you expected, because maybe it's just, you know, you're nervous, or you're too excited to think clearly, and you give in to the little details, and you end up giving them like little branches instead of the whole tree, which is the message you wanted to get across. And all you end up giving them is this little succession of details. Like, yeah, the other day at work, they said this and this happened, but then they said it's okay, don't worry. Like, why are you telling them about that instead of the great general view of the big picture? Why do you choose to give them this little... It's almost like if you're trying to tell a story and the first thing you give them is like a tiny little sequence out of context, right? No, nothing. You just give them that. I can't tell everybody about my plans, about what I want to do, my dreams. I was struggling to get my message across, you know. I was struggling to make them understand that I'm no longer the guy they once known. I'm no longer that guy. The guy they used to know is no longer here. I'm not the same anymore. I have changed big time. I've said this many times. I had to kill that guy. That guy exists no more. He couldn't withstand the pressure when we descended deep down to the deepest, darkest, coldest corners of my mind. That's where I found myself. I am what emerged from that ocean of pain and purpose. And I was struggling to make them understand how this is who I am. It's not a temporary challenge or some routine you're trying out. It's just who you are. Things like commitment, discipline, drive. All these things, these words, were not coming out. I could not say it out loud. I was constantly second guessing everything I would say. I don't know why I feel like I have to walk on eggshells with someone I'm supposed to trust. I'm supposed to believe that no matter what we say, we're still going to be friends. However, for whatever reason, I thought that I want to say this, and as soon as I open my mouth, I stop for a second and I think twice about it. And I'm like thinking of a different way to say it, a softer, more diluted version of the true message. And I'm tired of that. I'm really, really tired of it. I wish I could just speak my mind without having the feeling that I'm being either mocked or that they don't understand. Now, happily, I can say that now I'm much more confident, and regardless of what they say, I feel like I still have to speak out my truth, regardless of what they think, of what I think they think based on their facial expressions or their reactions, their body language. Fuck that. Just say what you have to say. Say it. But half of me, the other side, was like, wait, don't say it that way either, because it's too much. So of course, that's the hardest part of living this life, where there's certain things you're doing, accomplishing, fighting for that can't be talked about. You can't say that. You can't share that information with nobody, such as the case of my goals, my plans, my everything I want to accomplish, everything I want to get done. I can't really talk about it, not even when they ask me openly, like, so Adrian, what are some of your intentions, your plans? Where are you going with this, right? I wish I could tell them straight away, like, as confident as I'm feeling right now, as relaxed as I am right now, that I'm after inner power. I want to rule my mind. I'm tired of my mind ruling me. I'm tired of being a victim of circumstances or being a victim of my emotions, a slave of my emotions. I'm a prisoner of a cell that I built. I created this prison, this cage. I made this for myself, and I'm tired of it. So, the same way I made it, I'm going to break free from it. I can destroy this shit. It only exists because I allow it to. So the moment I say it's done, it's over, that's gonna be it. It's kind of sad that you get to see these people who you hold close to yourself struggle so much because they're simply not in touch with their own minds. They're not even aware. Remember the cage thing we mentioned? That's where they live. And they complain about it, yet they defend it so bad that they cling on it with everything they have to not let it go. It's their cage and they love it so much. So when someone breaks free, they point fingers around, they try to make them look like they're crazy. They're the crazy ones for escaping that prison. However, they're not crazy for staying in the prison. That's how they see it. That's their logic. It's so backwards. I don't know. It's been a long time that I noticed the world is really upside down. And it's quite upsetting to realize that most people don't even acknowledge the fact that they have the chance to change it. They can change the route this ship is sailing towards. We can change direction. You can't hit a target if you're not willing to even see it. You can't see it. They can't see it. How are they going to believe in something they can't see? That's where I guess faith comes in. We must have faith in ourselves. You have to believe in something to give meaning to your actions. It's the reason you do everything you do. I have faith in myself. I know I can improve my life. I know it'll get better. I know that all this pain and suffering is worth something. I know the reason behind my every move. I know why I do what I do. And I wish more people could wake up to their own potential and live up to their fullest potential. What's the reason behind all of this? I'm going to give my best. That's a pretty simple yet powerful answer. I'm gonna give my absolute best. You know, there's layers to this, layers of difficulty, levels of difficulty. More pressure, more stress, more workload. It feels easy. I'm playing easy mode. You know what happens when you play easy mode all the time? Your soul dies, bro. You never push yourself. You never get to experience the power of your greatness, the consequences of your efforts. You never get to realize how strong you are if you never, ever put yourself to the test. And that test always happens in the most overlooked situations. It's those little moments that matter the most. It's when you make those decisions, those hard decisions that don't feel hard for you because you always go for the easy option. It's why you make those choices with your food, with your relationships, everything you do, really. Every single action, like when you choose to watch a movie over reading a book, when you choose to start work later in the day just so you can lay in bed a little longer. Those are tests, all of them. So you're being hit with all these opportunities constantly to push yourself to show your true self who you are, and you're just passing them every single time. Another opportunity wasted, another chance to be great wasted. And I'm tired of living like that. It's why I chose to never back down again. No retreat, no surrender. We just push through the impossible and make it happen. It's up to us. And as soon as you realize that it's your fault, everything's your fault, both the good and the bad, you take responsibility for your situation and you get back in control. You take the wheel again. And now you can steer the direction that this ship is headed towards, and you can fulfill your destiny. You can do it, guys. Trust me, you can do it. I've always struggled with that, you know. You guys have seen me. I wanted to do great things. My great ambition was drowning in critiques and external opinions from other people, strangers, family, friends. But that was only when I was seeking approval from someone else, someone I cared about. I was so dependent on their validation that I could no longer look inwards and ask myself, what do you think, Adrian? Those were the times, man. That was true, meaningless suffering. This is different. Some people lead lives of constant stress that ends up corroding you, from the inside, ends up eating you from the inside, and you end up in a very, very bad spot. And that's precisely what I'm trying to avoid by creating the perfect environment for me right now to thrive. I'm pushing myself to my limits with the intention to build a skin thick enough so I don't end up in that spot, like I don't end up in that situation. Because if I build a mind strong enough, because it's been subjective to great pressure and stress and suffering and pain, my mind is used to it. And it's not only used to like a base level of that intensity, it's used to a fucking crazy intense hell. Imagine bathing in fucking lava, guys. That's what this feels like. Being comfortable in that scenario. Do you think I'm really gonna care about some insignificant little stress caused by something that's not even up to me? Fuck no. That's what I'm after. I'm after that kind of power. I'm after the important things in life. I no longer want to give a fuck about something that really doesn't make a difference. It's the trap I see so many people fall for. Gossiping, criticizing their peers, really minding what other people have to say about them. And I think that comes from a place of inner void, like they're empty inside. They have nothing interesting happening in their lives, so they need to criticize the very slightest amount of, struggle, insecurity, which is ironically just projection. They're just projecting their own insecurities, their own fears, their own pain, because they haven't tamed it. Those demons, they don't work with them. They work for them. They work for their own demons, bro. And they even defend them. I was so tired of that, I decided, you know what? Guys, you have to go. No, seriously, get out of here. You can no longer stay here. They were all like, what? What does he mean? Hey, we rule you. You don't rule us. You have to be scared of us. And I said, I don't care. Get out. And I took him down with me, because I knew it was the only way to make him go, because I knew they would not withstand the pressure. We have to make those sacrifices, guys. We have to put ourselves through the toughest climbs ever, because those are the ones that are truly worth it. Those are the ones with the best views at the top. Nobody's willing to withstand that pain, that struggle, that adversity. The level of pressure you withstand down there is insane. No wonder very few are willing to go there. But I did. I did. And when I came out, some of them stayed, but they no longer work against me. They work for me now. I tamed my demons. And you know what? It gets quite lonely up here. When you get to this level that you see no one else is willing to get at with you, you start to realize that not everybody's willing to do what you're willing to do. Not everybody is like you. That's fine. I don't want to judge anyone, but I definitely have no sympathy for those who can do something and they don't. Those who can make a change to put themselves in a better situation for themselves and for someone else, and they don't do it. They remain arms crossed in the face of struggle, danger, weakness. It's why it's so important to believe in yourselves, guys. It's really, really important. It is a big deal. If you believe in yourself, you stand a chance to turn into your greatest self. That doesn't happen if you don't believe in yourself. You don't have to be happy all the time. You don't have to be sad all the time. Everything fluctuates. Emotions come in waves. They come and go. You know, nothing is forever. Except you. You are forever. What you saw was a ghost. For that guy no longer exists. There's levels to this. You start with a job. You get another job. You think you can't do it. You want to turn your life around and implement new diet habits. You want to implement new workout habits. You want to implement new work ethics. And there's new projects coming up and new ideas for personal stuff, personal business, personal projects, personal dreams that you want to make happen. And soon enough, you find yourself embracing this new mentality, the mentality of a committed man, the mentality of a brave soul, the mentality of a winner, someone who doesn't give up, someone who does not crumble in the face of adversity, someone who never backs off from a challenge, someone who understands the value of struggle. That's how you end up becoming this individual that you are nowadays. You used to be that guy that always complained, always felt like a victim. The world was always against him. But now you understand what's going on. Now you know it was your fault. Everything. Literally everything. Even the things you think are not really under your control, like it's not up to you to decide whether that happens or not. It's your fault. You know why? Because you chose to react that way. You could have said something else. You could have behaved in a different way. But you didn't. Because you took refuge in that little pain that was testing you. You thought, oh, okay, since things are so bad, I might as well be following this current and just becoming a feather in the wind, being blown from productive, the lazy, the scared, the brave, and any other opposite you can think of. Wasn't that exhausting? Not necessarily physically, but mentally, spiritually. It's why I say it's where the soul comes to die. It's where dreams go to die. When you have no problem, no struggle, nothing to overcome, no pressure, no nothing. Everything's nice, everything's like sunshine and rainbows. Everything's perfect at all times, forever. How fucking boring is that? You've got nothing to do. That may sound like heaven to a lot of people, and perhaps we deserve it after we earned it. That's the point. You have to earn it. It's your duty. It's your moral obligation to act. That's why I always say that nice things make me weak. I feel weak. I feel weak now that the summer's coming up. Nice weather. It's always warm. It's nice outside. You feel average now. I start to see people on the trails running, and I'm thinking, it's nice to see you now, guys. Now that everything's nice and pleasant. But where were you guys when things were rough and no one wanted to show up because it was too difficult? It was too dark outside, it was too early, it was too cold, and you saw like no reason to put yourself through any of that. I did see a reason. Perhaps it is true that the road to success is a very lonely path. And I'm fine with it, especially since I just understood that you have to get in touch with yourself. You have to make peace with yourself. Some people can't withstand themselves. They can't stand themselves. They can't live with themselves. It's why they constantly look for some distraction, for something to entertain themselves, to steal their attention away from whatever they were supposed to be focusing on. And they end up in this eternal suffering type of place, but it's not the same suffering, right? It's like purposeless suffering, meaningless pain. It's not meaningful. It's not purposeful. It doesn't fulfill any role in the development of their personal selves in the long run. So they always choose easy things to do. And when they fail at those easy things, they still claim the medals. They won the trophies. They won the rewards. They won the prizes, because they don't understand that you don't deserve those things. You don't deserve them. If you are a loser, if you lost, you don't deserve it. Otherwise, it's just taking the value away from those who do deserve it. If you guys get the reward no matter what, it breeds laziness. It breeds weakness, because it leads to lower standards all the time. It leads to lowering your standards. Don't put in so much work. You're gonna get the reward anyway. Why should you push yourself? Why should you go through all that shit? If you're not feeling like it, don't do it. If you're not happy enough today, don't do it. If you're not inspired enough, don't do it. It's fine. It's not fine. It's not okay. You have a duty. You have a responsibility, and you're just avoiding it. You're dodging all your responsibilities, and you're just becoming a softer, weaker individual. He seems to be a quite tormented individual, you know? He seems to be someone who lost his track, someone who's not really, he doesn't seem to be aware of the nature of his actions. He doesn't quite seem to understand why he behaves the way he behaves. Because if he did, he would wake up to the reality of how bad that is for his mental health, physical health, spiritual health. He gets mad over insignificant things. He gets mad over little things that don't really matter. They don't make a difference. And it's usually things from other people. It's usually things that other people are up to. He compares himself a lot, I guess. He puts an unnecessary burden on his own people, and that leads to pretty dangerous situations where he throws his own people under the bus, you know, without realizing that he's only being a coward. He's only being weak. It's a pathetic behavior that I have no sympathy for, because he could do better. He could be better. But it's always the same mentality with people like him. They tend to blame others for their situation. They don't ever want to take control. They don't even see it as a possibility to change the situation. And it's why they end up in such a bad spot that they call their own cell, like their own cage, their own prison, or rather, they don't call it that, they call it home. They take it for granted, like, this is my place. It sucks, I hate it, but I defend it with everything I've got anytime someone comes against it. That's a very sad way to see things. It's a very sad behavior. It's a very sad reality to wake up to realize that your people are self-destructing. They're constantly engaging in these detrimental behaviors, actions, events, activities. You know what I think? I believe that we should be focusing more on ourselves. I believe that we should be paying attention to our every move, everything we do, everything we say, every thought we have. What's the origin of those things? What's the source? What's making you like that? Find it. Find it. Find the root and change it. It's up to you, no one else. Especially when you know you've done it before and now you're acting as if it's impossible to do it again. If you did it once, what makes you think you can't do it again? You're totally capable. You are literally the proof that it can be done. You can make this. You can do this. These are the things that I'm trying to teach people like my mom. I'm trying to tell her, Mom, you have to protect yourself. You can't be going after everyone, desperately trying to save them, take them by the hand, walk them to the water, and then force them to drink. If they are truly thirsty, they will go themselves. They won't need anyone to tell them. Instinct would kick in and they would go. If they don't, it's because they're not truly thirsty. They think, oh, I'm not fat enough to work out, I'm fine. Oh, I'm not poor enough to make a change in my economy, I'm fine. I'm not bad enough at my craft, I can keep doing the same old mistakes without ever having to change anything in my behavior, I'm fine. Yet one day, they start complaining, they start saying things, pointing fingers, victimizing themselves. It is quite upsetting for someone like me to see them like that, because you know that they are their own solution. They could fix their problems. The key is within themselves. They could change the situation, but they choose not to because it's not extreme yet. Some people work this way, myself included. I didn't take any action until I realized I'm actually on the edge of the cliff. I could either make a change now or regret it forever. We all experience that wake-up call. Sooner or later, it comes for us all. Make sure you listen. Make sure you answer the call. It's up to you.